it can open your eyes. One book can open your world. Knowledge gives you power. Read and rise higher. 9R Tree. Better life begins in a book.
Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to 9R Tree's podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype, by Clarissa Pinkola. Estes is a powerful exploration of the instinctual, creative, and untamed nature within women. Blending Jungian depth psychology, mythology, folklore, and her experience as a storyteller and psychoanalyst, Estes invites readers to reconnect with the wild woman archetype, the inner source of vitality, intuition, and fierce self-knowledge. Through a rich tapestry of multicultural tales and legends, she reveals how women can recover parts of themselves that have been exiled by societal expectations, trauma, or self-doubt. Rather than offering quick fixes, the book is a deep, soulful journey that encourages reflection, inner work, and transformation. It is both poetic and practical, guiding readers to honor their instincts, trust their voices, and reclaim their emotional and creative authority. For anyone sensing there is more to their inner life than what the outer world validates, this book serves as a luminous map back to their wild, authentic self. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, the wild woman archetype and instinctual nature. At the heart of the book is the figure of the wild woman, a timeless archetype representing a woman's instinctual, soulful, and untamed essence. Clarissa Pinkola Estes explains that this is not about being reckless or chaotic, but about being deeply connected to inner knowing, creativity, and life force. She argues that modern culture often teaches women to fear or suppress their instincts, labeling them as too emotional, too intense, or too much. Through myths and stories, Estes shows how this repression leads to depression, numbness, and a sense of disconnection from self. The wild woman archetype offers a remedy. It encourages a return to instinct, body wisdom, and emotional truth. Readers are invited to notice the inner voice that knows when something is right or wrong for them, even when the world disagrees. By honoring this voice, women begin to reclaim their natural boundaries, desires, and capacities. The archetype becomes a compass for navigating relationships, work, creativity, and spiritual life from a place of inner authority rather than external approval. Secondly, stories as medicine and psychological maps. A central theme of Women Who Run with the Wolves is that stories are not just entertainment. They are medicine and psychological maps of the soul. Estes, trained as a contadora or keeper of old stories, shows how traditional tales carry encoded wisdom about development, trauma, loss, and healing. Each myth or folktale in the book is dissected symbolically, revealing how characters and events mirror inner psychological processes. For example, stories of skeleton women, sealskins, or bluebeards are interpreted as teachings about fear, betrayal, exhaustion, or creative rebirth. Instead of presenting rigid theories, Estes uses narrative to bypass intellectual defenses and speak directly to the unconscious. This approach allows readers to recognize themselves in the tales and to feel seen at a deep level. Stories create a safe distance from personal pain while also illuminating it. By working with these narratives, readers learn to identify where they are in their own life story. Are they at the beginning of a transformation, resisting a necessary ending, or ignoring a dangerous inner predator? Stories thus become tools to name experiences, understand patterns, and imagine new possibilities for healing and growth. Thirdly, confronting the inner predator and bluebeard pattern. One of the most impactful topics in the book is the exploration of the inner predator, symbolized by the Bluebeard story. Bluebeard is the charming but murderous figure who forbids his wife from opening a certain door. When she disobeys, she discovers the bodies of his former wives, and he attempts to kill her. Estes interprets Bluebeard as the destructive psychic force that lives within women and their environments, the voice that silences intuition, forbids curiosity, and punishes self-knowledge. This predator can appear as self-criticism, abusive partners, exploitative workplaces, or internalized cultural messages that say, "Do not look too closely, Do not question. Do not leave. The forbidden room represents the truths we fear to confront about our lives. By opening the door, the heroine begins the process of psychological awakening. Estes teaches that every woman must learn to recognize her own Bluebeard pattern, the moments when she senses something is wrong, but pushes that awareness away. The path to reclaiming the wild woman involves sharpening discernment, trusting red flags, and refusing to collude with forces that diminish her. This topic equips readers with a language and framework for understanding subtle forms of manipulation and self-betrayal, empowering them to protect their energy, safety, and integrity. Fourthly, cycles of loss, descent, and creative renewal. The book emphasizes that a fully lived female life must honor cycles: growth, decline, death, and regeneration. Estes uses stories such as The Descent of Inanna and the tales of sealskins and soulskins to illustrate how women periodically lose touch with their essence and must journey back to themselves. These descents may appear as burnout, grief, creative block, relationship endings, or spiritual emptiness. Instead of pathologizing these periods, Estes reframes them as necessary initiations. Something inauthentic must die so that a deeper, truer self can be reborn. She stresses that modern culture glorifies constant productivity and emotional positivity, leaving little space for retreat, mourning, or inner work. Yet the wild woman lives by the laws of nature. Winter follows summer, night follows day. Honoring these rhythms means allowing time for rest, solitude, and the slow repair of the psyche. From this dark soil, new ideas, relationships, and identities eventually emerge. Reading these chapters helps women reinterpret their own low points, not as personal failures, but as part of a sacred process. This understanding can reduce shame, normalize complexity, and inspire gentler self-care during times of transition. Lastly, reclaiming voice, boundaries, and creative power. Another major theme is the reclamation of voice, boundaries, and creativity as expressions of the wild woman. Estes shows how many women have been conditioned to be pleasing, quiet, and accommodating, often at the cost of their own needs and gifts. Through tales of courageous heroines and wise old women, she illustrates the moment when a woman finally says no, speaks her truth, or chooses her path against external pressure. These stories validate anger as a healthy signal that a boundary has been crossed, rather than a flaw to be suppressed. The book also explores the link between creativity and psychological health. Writing, painting, singing, dancing, or any authentic expression is portrayed as food for the soul. When creativity is blocked, so is life energy. Estes offers insights into how fear of judgment, perfectionism, or past wounds can choke this flow, and how small, consistent acts of creation can gradually restore it. Women are encouraged to carve out space and time for their own projects, even when no one is watching or approving. In doing so, they strengthen their sense of self, develop resilience, and learn to live from inner passion rather than external validation. In conclusion, Women Who Run with the Wolves is particularly suited for women who feel depleted, silenced, or disconnected from their inner life, as well as for readers drawn to depth psychology, spirituality, and myth. It will resonate with those who sense there is a buried, more authentic self under layers of duty, conditioning, or fear. Therapists, coaches, artists, and seekers can all benefit from its rich symbolic language and soulful perspective. The book stands apart from more superficial self-help titles because it does not offer quick tips or trends. Instead, it provides a profound, enduring framework for understanding the psyche. By engaging with its stories and reflections, you cultivate stronger intuition, clearer boundaries, and deeper self-respect. It helps you recognize destructive patterns, honor your emotional cycles, and reclaim your creative energy. You should consider buying this book over many others because it does not treat you as a problem to be fixed, but as a powerful being in the process of remembering your wild, original nature. Its insights remain relevant across different life stages, making it a long-term companion rather than a temporary inspiration. If you would like to support Clarissa Pinkola Estés, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, Please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.
1 minute can open your eyes. 1 book can open your world. Knowledge gives you power, read and rise higher. 9 Archetype, better life begins.